It's a joy to celebrate today together, the summer solstice. And we have kind of a very lightful program with many friends that are going to share with you. And it's really just about the light. So during this ceremony, during this event, just try really to feel connected with the light, to awaken light, to call for the light, to really be a channel and reawake in this season in the light. And so we are going to have now a talk with Prita that is going to share about the meaning of the solstice, and then some yoga with Paul and myself. And then we will have chant and meditation with Narayana and Dharma Devi, music with Nika, and then Narayana and Dharma Devi. Again, they will just offer like devotion and chanting together. And then a moment with Aaron and a sing-along. So again, about music, about manifesting devotion light through music. And then Dharana is going to talk about how to manifest God's will. And Michael, with an affirmation, is going to lead us to the end of the event, with a prayer from Whisper and the visualization and healing prayers. So we're really joyful just to do all of this with you, and just joining our hearts and lights together.
The summer solstice is the day when the sun travels its longest path through the sky and it reaches its highest point. And because of the way that the Earth sits on its axis, it's the closest to the North Pole, and that translates as the longest day of the year, or having a lot of light today. And when we look at our journey through the different seasons, we've come out of winter, which is an inward time, a time for reflection, a time for integration and deepening. And then there's the spring, where we're setting new intentions. And then summer comes, and I always remember an astrological reading with Drupada in our community when he was explaining a little bit of my energy, actually, because I was born in June, and he says that think about the summer as Divine Mother in her fullest expression. And just those two words, her fullest expression, it just left this impression in my brain of a garden with tons of sunflowers just in your face, that beauty and that joy. And I think that beauty that we see in nature fully manifested in the summer, the variety of fruits, it reminds us of our inner joy, our divine beauty. And I think summer is really a reminder of who we are, of all of that light. And I was trying to tune into, one of the other things is that it helps cultivate a quality of patience, because the spring we set our intentions, and hopefully by the summer they've manifested with the light. But it still contains this quality of patience and nourishment. We still need to continue feeding those intentions that we set to harvest them in the fall. And so I was tuning into how do we continue to nourish ourselves during this time? And I was waiting all night for the answer. I was like, please, Swami, I've gotten nothing for this talk. And I heard the arts, and I was like, that's not something that I would think of, but it makes complete sense. And so I just wanted to do a little crystal clarity plug and recommend the art as a hidden message, as a summer read, because as Swami reminds us in this book, that it is a reflection, art is a reflection of what's going on within us, but he says it's an echo, but the clearer we are, the clearer the echo is. And so I recommend art as a hidden message, as a way to nourish your spirit this summer. And I wanted to close with that visual of Divine Mother in her full bloom with Whispers from Eternity prayer. It's flowers and skies, heralds of thee. Flowers, cloud-scattered skies, and all beautiful, blossoming scenery. All these only suggest thy divinity. I enjoy them, I revel in them, but then they remind me of thee. In that remembrance, these mere, though glorious messengers vanish, and the beauty of my own beloved infinity enthralls me. Thank you, friends.
Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine, that the brilliance that we see of the sun, and it is brilliant, the physical sun, is nevertheless, just as the Bhagavad Gita says, just a glimmer of the brilliance of Divine Mother, of God. So this also, as we're going to do some postures, I was tuning in and to Surya, the sun god, and he's the great Vedic god that is so brilliant that his wife had to leave him because he was too intense. And so she symbolizes the soul that went down to earth away from the brilliance of the sun. But we can take in, and then he ended up toning his brilliance intensity down so they could be together and live happily ever after. But our souls are always merging back in God. That's the journey of self-realization. So let's come standing. Enough of my talking, and let's do a little experiential to wake up the nervous system, since I'm cool, I'm good there, thanks dear. Since the nearest temple, Swami Kriyananda said, is our own nervous systems, our own bodies. That's where we feel God. So let's just get awake and ready and feel like Surya and Divine Mother, sunlight of spirit, and the light of the Masters shining through us. They're the way back. So let's go. I'm awake and ready. 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 Now go on. Positive, energetic, enthusiastic. I'm positive, energetic, enthusiastic. I'm positive, energetic, enthusiastic. Now wrap your body. I am master of my energy. I am master of myself. I am master of my energy. Master of myself. I am master of my energy. Master of myself. Now rub the arms vigorously. Awake. Rejoice, my body cells. 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 Now wrap the skull. Be glad, my brain. Be wise and strong. Be glad, my brain. Be wise and strong. Be glad, my brain. Be wise and strong. Now massage the scalp. You can close the eyelids. Gaze at the eye of infinity. Awake, like Surya awakening his children. Awake, my sleeping children, awake. 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 And you can just take the arms down, relax the shoulders, close the eyelids. Feel prana. Surya, the sun represents prana, life force. Breathing in life to all the creatures of earth. Let's take one hand to the belly and one to the heart. Speaking of prana, we can feel it in the breathing. So through the nostrils, inhale, breathe in the belly, the ribs, the heart. And exhale out the heart, the ribs, the belly. And then inhale. You could close the eyelids. Visualize the morning sun, the summer sun rising up. Inhale, up to the heart and the spiritual eye. Exhale, out the heart, the ribs and the belly, and all shadows that are dissolving into the light. Inhale and exhale. One more on your own. Feel, visualize that sunlight of spirit flowing through you. Now, we're going to do Durkha Pranayama. So take the hands just right in front of the belly, not quite touching. And then inhale, magnetically draw the energy up. Breathe in the belly, the heart, and then come bow. And you can imagine you're bowing to the sunlight of spirit, as we do in our Surya Namaskar affirmation. And we're not really perhaps dressed to do a full sun salutation or maybe at home, but as we do this, I'm going to do the affirmation of Surya Namaskar. So keep going here. Salutations to the sun, to the awakening light within, to the dawning of higher consciousness within all beings. So just do one more wherever you are. And once you come up, keep the arms up for a moment, okay? Just keep the arms up. By the way, if you're ever feeling a little in the doldrums, lift up the arms if it's socially acceptable. You can do that in your office, and it'll actually lift your spirits, just lifting the arms. Now open, imagine like there's a skylight and sunlight is pouring down from God. You're bathing in the light. Inhale. Now open your arms like sun rays from your heart chakra. And then take the arms up. Inhale. Feel the lights shining through you. We are each a medium of God, Yogananda said. Each of us is an instrument. Okay, and then lift your shoulders and relax. Old karma off of your shoulders. Let's bring the feet together, closer. We're going to do Artha Chandrasana, half moon, okay? But we're going to go intuitively, okay? Because we're going to flow a little more. Inhale. Now take the arms up and take your left arm down. Okay, and then inhale, lift up. So like the soul, like Sarayu represents she's a cloud goddess who's the wife of Surya, that she turned into a mare, a horse, and went back to earth. And then he became a horse and breathed on her, and they had 2 sons. That's another story, hook your thumbs. But they became the horse gods, and they represent prana, spreading prana on the earth plane. Inhale, and now you can keep the heels off the mat or very lightly if you can, and mostly just feel the love of God, of Divine Mother, the nurturing power of Spirit, how it casts away the shadows of old karma, of doubts, of any sense that we are anything but divine. And if you feel to affirm, we're only going to stay here 15 more minutes in this posture. I'm just kidding. Strength and courage. Fill my body cells. Yeah, let's do it out loud. Strength and courage. Fill my body cells. And courage. Fill my body cells. Now let's take the arms up. Inhale. Come on the tippy toes. Reach. If you can reach the sky, I'll give you a magic ring. Just being silly. Inhale, open your arms so the heels relax. And then let's take the arms up. Inhale, be like a beautiful angel or a sun opening the rays. And then just relax. Lift your shoulders, yeah. There's prana in Kali too, or doggy. And relax, just close the eyelids. Mentally affirm strength and courage. Fill my body cells. Just It's like bathing in that Holy Spirit. Let's do it the other side. So let's take the arms up. Again, we're going to go a little playful here. We're going to take the left arm down first. It's a little bit like Simon says here. Take the other arm down. And then hook your thumbs the less familiar way. Come on the tippy toes. Inhale. Good. Reaching the sunlight. And then gently stretch up and over. Good. And here we can also, don't forget to breathe through the nostrils. You can breathe in the belly and visualize the golden yellow fire in the belly, Manipura. It's also a seat of pranic power, vitality, and draw that energy to the heart chakra, Anahata, and the eye of infinity at the forehead, the star brow. Between the brows, strength and courage. Fill my body cells. Let's try it out loud. Strength and courage. Fill my body cells. One more. Strength and courage. Fill my body cells. And now let's lift up. Inhale. Let's double breathe this time. Tense, low, medium, high with willingness. Recharge. Call on that conscious cosmic energy. And relax and feel. Now lift your shoulder heads. Inhale. Roll like weight of the world dissolving in the divine sunlight of spirit. Close the eyelids. Draw, moving towards that morning star, that sunlight rising, the dawning of higher awareness at the point between the brows, the star shine. Let's do one more here. Okay, we're going to do a gentle variation of Virabhadrasana, warrior. I'm going to go sideways so for the camera they can see me better. Have your left foot forward, just take your right foot back. We'll keep the outer edge of the back foot down. And we're going, since we haven't done a lot of warm-ups, we're going to just play with this a little bit, okay? So take your arms up, inhale, stretch your front knee. Inhale, so it's sort of a posture and warm-up rolled in one. Inhale and open your arms like the sun rays, the morning sun. Good. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, shine. Remember, the body is just a vehicle. It's never just an end in itself. It's an instrument. Let the body make the music of the sun, the sunlight of spirit. Now, let's pause. If you need to straighten your knee, that's fine. Otherwise, try to keep your arms open. And this also is very powerful, to have our arms open, our palms up. The body automatically says yes to life when we do this. And you can tuck in the tailbone, tuck in the lower abdomen. Maybe some of us have a little more backward bend. Possibly close the eyelids, offer the gaze at the eye of infinity. Attuning to the divine, the sunlight of spirit. If you feel to mentally affirm, I attune my will to the source of all power. I attune my will to the source, the divine source of all power. Now, you can stretch your front knee. Now, take your arms up. Come on the ball of your back foot. Take the back foot to meet the front. And open. And then just lift your shoulders, if you wish to, lift up and roll off lifetimes of worries off of your shoulders. Just bathe in the light. I attune my will to the source of all power. One more side here. A teacher of mine used to say, at least we don't have 6 legs or 8 legs. We only have 2 legs and 2 arms, which is good. Okay, it would take a lot longer if we had like spider legs. Okay. So, and it's front heel to back heel, just a little technical thing. And then take your arms up, stretch your front knee, easing in here. And if those of us at home, if you need, you can just keep the legs straight if you need. Inhale and open the arms. You can even do chair yoga here with just the arms if you needed to. Inhale and open those sun rays. One more. Breathing in light. Exhale. Now keep the arms out if it's available. Palms up. Offer the heart, like Matt Yogananda would say, with the deepest devotion of your soul. Using the body to get beyond the body here. And if you feel to mentally affirm, I attune my will to the source of all power. I attune my will to the source of all power. Take your arms and leg up. Now you can come on the ball of the back foot. Take the back foot to meet the front. And open. It's nice and warm in here, like there's lots of sunlight. And lift your shoulders. Unpack the shoulders and just take a pause here with eyelids closed. Inwards and upwards, that sunlight rises. I attune my will to the source, the true source of all power. I attune my will to the source of all power.
So now that we have awakened energy and we feel it in our body, we can continue just trying to open the spine and feel within the light and the energy. So I just invite you to go in a stance with your feet wide open, like the distance of one of your legs. I will just put myself so you can see the spine. And so from here, just take a deep breath, inhale and lengthen the spine up. And then as you exhale, you can just bend forward, keeping the spine straight. So just try to keep your spine straight and gently, gently try to bend forward as you reach like the first point of resistance, and you can just pause there. You can place your hands on the thigh, just pushing here and feeling all the length of your spine, going a little deeper. And then you can just reach the floor with your hands, keeping the spine as straight as possible. You can even use a chair if you need to place your hands on the chair. And from here, we can just put our weight on the right hand and then lift the left arm in a twist of our spine. So just gently, with breath, as you can reach as high as you can. Just try not to strain or feel pain. Just really enjoy the stretching and connect with the spine, with the flow of energy, opening with every breath, using every inhalation to open, lengthening, stretching the spine. One more deep breath, and then exhaling, you can come to the center. Pause here for a moment and finding your neutral spine. And then we can do the other side, so lifting up our right arm. And again, feel your chest is opening, feel your heart is opening. Let the energy flow through your spine. Light, vitality, power, awakening in your spine. A deep inhalation, stretch a little more, reach upward, and then exhale, come gently down. Find again the support of your hands. Try to Feel your spine. A deep inhalation, lengthen a little more. And then if you can, if it's comfortable for you, you can exhale and round your spine and relax your head to the floor. Relax the neck, relax the lower back. Just find what is comfortable for your body in this moment. Relaxing the shoulders and every mental burden, every physical resistance. And you can mentally affirm, I relax and cast aside all mental burdens. I relax and cast aside all mental burdens. And just let go here, relax. Create space where you feel resistance and tensions. And then gently, as you feel, we can inhale, reach again the straight spine, slightly bending the knees, and come back to the center. Reach up with your arms, and then exhale, gently come back to your center, to Tadasana, the mountain pose, and just pause here for a moment. You can close your eyes and feel your spine, feel the effect of this pose. Feel if there is more space, vitality in the spine, and try to draw this energy upward at the point between the eyebrows. And now we can continue opening the spine, and we are going to kneel on the floor, so maybe you can use a mat or just a blanket to protect your knees. I just wait a moment that everyone is comfortable. There is a blanket here. Okay. So just we can kneel on the floor with the thighs parallel to the hips. So we are going to practice the Gait pose, Parigasana, to open all the side of our body. We are going to stretch to the side, the left leg. And when you're ready, the spine is straight. You can even bend slightly the knee if it's more comfortable. And then let's inhale and reach upward with our right arm. Lengthen the spine. And then you exhale and then hinging from the hip. They're just dropping off this hip. And the spine is almost straight. And just bend over toward the left. Like reaching toward the left and upward. And you can gaze, if you feel comfortable, over toward the right. And just feeling all the opening of this side of the body, the opening of the chest. With deep breath, try not to lean forward or backward, but just really upward. And feel this energy running through your spine upward. The next inhalation, and come back to the center, reach up, and then exhale, come back to the center with your legs, and just pause for a moment, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths, like really trying to tune with the energy within, with this energy going through our spine upward. And we can mentally affirm, waves of joy surge upward in my spine. Waves of joy surge upward in my spine. And we can practice the other side. So again, this time we will stretch out to the side, the right leg, and just protect the knee, not hyperextend the knee. Let's inhale together, bring up the left arm, and then exhale, just hinge from the hip, keeping the spine straight, relatively straight. And then you can relax here with the breath and really opening the spine, opening the breath, and tuning to this current upward of joy, of light. And we can mentally affirm, waves of joy surge upward in my spine. And you can visualize this light, this joy flowing through your body, reaching upward, opening yourself as a channel of light. Try to engage every part of your body and your mind in this pause. And then we can come back, inhaling, lengthening the spine here, and come back. Pause for a moment and just feel. Just take a moment to feel the effect physically, and then on a subtle level, the energy awakened. And gazing at the point between the eyebrows, we want to draw this energy upward, uplifting our consciousness. And we will practice 2 more poses on the floor. So the bridge pose, Setu Bandhasana, just offering ourselves upward. And so we will just lay on our back on the mat. We bend our knees. And maybe, okay, I will guide you. If you don't know the pose, maybe you can just watch me first and then you enter the pose. Otherwise, I can guide you. So just bend your knees, and you can almost touch with your fingers to the side, the heels. And we are going to enter in the pose, inhaling and lifting up our hips like this. So we can try a few times just this exercise. Exhale down and inhale. Bring your hips upward. And then again, exhale slowly. Bring into the floors, vertebra by vertebra, and then inhaling and lifting upward, again gradually the spine, and just really connecting with the movement of the spine. Just bringing flexibility, relaxation, and vitality to the spine. And the next time that you are up, if you feel, we can stay here. Just take a few breaths here in this pose, and feeling that you are offering upward yourself, your light. And we can mentally affirm, I offer every thought as a bridge to divine grace. I offer every thought as a bridge to divine grace. And just feeling the support of the back of your arms, the shoulders. One more breath here if you can. And then exhale and come back to the mat. Relax the legs down and pause here for a few moments with the palms facing upward, receiving now the light, and still feeling that you're offering yourself, that you're an open channel. And mentally we can continue affirming, I offer every thought as a bridge to divine grace. And our practice with an inversion, a very gentle inversion, the fish pose. So just bring your legs parallel to the hips, close together, and we can place our hands just underneath the buttocks, with the arms, the elbows very close to your torso. And from here, pushing through the buttocks, the palms toward the floor and the elbows. Inhale and lift your chest upward. Try not to jackknife your neck, so you're just resting very little weight on the back corner of your head. And try really to lift the chest, open the heart, feeling light expansion. And you can mentally affirm, my soul floats on waves of cosmic light. My soul floats on waves of cosmic light. Try to keep the breath flowing, breathe and smooth. You can exit anytime if you feel, otherwise one more deep breath. Expanding the heart, and then exhale, gently come back to the floor. Relax and release the arms, the hands at the side. Let's pause for a moment, feeling the effect, the openness of all the front of our body, of the chest and the heart. Feeling expansion and light. Really focusing on the energy that we have awakened in our brain at the spiritual eye. We can rest in Shavasana for a few minutes. So just with your legs slightly open to the side and the arms, the palms facing upward. Relax the shoulder down, away from the ears, and the heels away from the hips, lengthening the legs. Just finding a comfortable, relaxing position in Shavasana. Try to start taking a few long breaths, expanding the abdomen, relaxing every tension. We can visualize light all around us. A peaceful, loving light, infinite light. We feel safe and open to this light. You can visualize this light lovingly entering in your body from the feet, permeating every cell of your feet, of the calves, ankles, and knees, creating space, light in your thighs, and use every breath to relax and open to this light in your hips, in the abdomen. Feel this light flowing through your back, expanding your hands and arms. The shoulders, the chest. Your light is in the neck, this light is in the neck, and the face, and in your head. Feel your body as light, one with the light, infinite light. And then gently we can start taking a deep inhalation. And we can gently try to move our fingers or toes by gentle movements with our head to the sides. You can even hug your knees at the chest. And gently to the side, rocking to the sides, giving a massage to your back. And just when you're ready, you can turn over toward the right side. Pause for a moment to the side. And when you're ready, you can just come and sit for a moment. We can just close our eyes for a moment and just placing our hands at the heart, just feeling gratitude for this light within us, for the light that we are, and offering this light to this infinite light to be guided and to express divine will, divine power, divine love and joy.
You want to take all this energy and awaken it further, awaken that love and light in our hearts. So we'll do 2 chants and then we'll go into a guided meditation together. And the first chant, Paul actually mentioned thousands of suns. Who tells me thou art dark? O my mother divine, thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine.
Who tells me thou art dark, O my mother divine? Who tells me thou art dark, O my mother divine? Thousands of suns from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Who tells me thou art dark, my mother divine? Who tells me thou art dark, my mother divine? Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Who tells me thou art dark, my mother divine? Who tells me thou art dark, my mother divine? Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Who tells me thou art dark, my mother divine? Who tells me thou art dark, my mother divine? Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Who tells me thou art dark, my mother divine? Who tells me thou art dark, my mother divine? Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Who tells me thou art dark, my mother divine? Who tells me thou art dark, my mother divine? Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of thousands of suns and moons from my body to shine. Thousands of suns and moons from my body to shine. Who tells me thou art dark, oh my mother divine? Who tells me thou art dark, oh my mother divine?
Yogananda's chant, light the lamp of thy love.
My house with thine own hands, light the lamp of thy love. In my house with thine own hands, light the lamp of thy love. Thy transmuting lamp entrancing, thy lamp lamp entrancing, wondrous are its ways. Change my darkness to thy light, Lord. Change my darkness to thy light, and my evil into good. Touch me but once, and I will change. Touch me but once, and I will change all my clay into
Let's meditate together now, taking these chants to heart, literally and figuratively visualizing the heart, that it's being ignited by the fire of divine love through our own invitation of God's presence within us. Let's visualize our hearts as a lotus flower of divine energy and light. And we consciously, lovingly turn the petals of our divine heart lotus inwards and upwards. Feeling God's divine grace, His light, changing all of our clay, of our material desires, our attachments, our past karma, purifying it and transforming it into the gold of divine realization, lifting the gaze to the point between the eyebrows. Let's offer ourselves without reservation to our divine beloved as the light of God. let's mentally affirm and visualize this affirmation. God's light is within me and around me everywhere. So I will banish the fear that shuts out his guiding light. God's light is within me and around me everywhere. So I will banish the fear that shuts out his guiding light. God's light is within me and around me everywhere. So I will banish the fear that shuts out his guiding light. God's light is within me and around me everywhere. So I will banish the fear that shuts out his guiding light. Let's feel our unity with all life, all creation through that light of God. Sharing these blessings of peace, of brotherhood, of harmony with all the world. Let's send out 3 ohms together.
So summer solstice for me is a time of reaping all the beautiful gifts of earth and everything that life has to offer. And music has always been a place for me to be creative and play around and express myself. So we're going to be playing around in the key of D and doing a remix of one of my favorite pieces of music to play, and you probably might have heard of before.
beautiful. And now we'll have a sing-along. First we'll hear a song of Swami Kriyananda, one of his recordings, and then we'll get to all sing it together again. So I'm going to hand out to people here printout with the words, and those watching online will have the words on the screen.
There's joy in the heavens, a smile on the mountains, and melody sings everywhere. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. Leave home in the sunshine, dance through a meadow, or sit by a stream and just be. The lilt of the water will gather your worries and carry them down to the sea. The lilt of the water will gather your worries and carry them down to the sea. Men hunger for freedom, but don't see their dungeon is only the thought that they're bound. Desires are their shackles, the hope that tomorrow the doorway to joy will be found. Desires are their shackles, the hope that tomorrow the doorway to joy will be found. There's joy all around us, why wait till tomorrow? We've only this moment to live. A heaven within us is ours for the finding, a freedom no riches can give. A heaven within us is ours for the finding, a freedom no riches can give. There's joy in the heavens, a smile on the mountains, and melody sings everywhere. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air.
I suggest that you all go beyond this exercise today and try to really attune yourselves to chanting or singing whenever you're mostly in need, but even when you're not, to practice when it's easy, right? To attune yourself to the music of Swami, the music of Master, and whenever you need it, it'll be there in the back of your mind to bring you back to the desired state of consciousness, which is a high one. So let's sing all together. There's joy in the heavens, a smile on the mountains, and melody sings everywhere. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. Then come the sunshine, dance through a meadow, or sit by a stream and just be. The lilt of the water will gather your worries and carry them down to the sea. The lilt of the water will gather your worries and carry them down to the sea. Men hunger for freedom, but don't see their dungeon is only the thought that they're bound. The flowers are all laughing to welcome the morning. Your soul is as free as the air. When I think of attunement, the first thing that comes to mind is yoga, Kriya Yoga, meditation, doing my Kriyas. That's my given, my default, probably above everything else. When I'm doing it, I go back in attunement, I go back inside myself, I get in touch with my God. But yeah, in a more general way, and I guess for most people in general, we can have several other points that I'd like to share on. Number one would be right company. Then right attitude and right action. To me, right company has been crucial. It's going to be almost 9 years since the day when I first went to Ananda. And it was a dark fall night in November 2012. I didn't know where I was going or who I was going to meet. I had no idea, but I went there, and there wasn't this incredible realization or epiphany that happened during that trip, and many other trips that I realized had happened. But there was a beautiful thing going on there. There was something that those people had that later on I realized my soul wanted. There was something that called to me, and that was, on the outside there was a ton of love, understanding, respect for one another and for all who came. But on the inside there was something even more subtle, the vibration, what was going on, and that magnetism that they projected onto everyone of total love, unconditional. That can only be given by right company. When you are in the presence of great souls, they are giving to you without even, you trying to get from them. It's being given on a cellular level. This is why right company is so crucial, because we stay attuned, we stay in line. Then there is obviously right attitude. All of the things like having the heart open, being willing, being understanding, being humble, all of the right things, and surrender. That's one of the attitudes that's been crucial to me. But I'll touch on that a little more in a moment. In any event, the last one is right action. Right action is incredibly important for me because obviously we're karma yogis. No action, what good is talking? What good is attitude? Action is the end of the line for me. When I am in action, I am at my best because I think that's when I'm performing for God, when I'm working for God, when I'm doing what my dharma is. In right action, I always find satisfaction. But right action has something more than just the outward action. There's much more in it to me. There is the faith, because in action is when we are saying, I love you, when we are saying, I want to, when we are saying, I'm receptive, when we are saying, I'm humble. We can't, there's our God, who's our Father. Do we believe He's our Father? Do we in action ask? Because if we do, then there is right action. But for us to be able to ask with conviction and with faith, we must have done right action. Because we can't go out there and do all kinds of mischievous things and then come back and say, Father, please give me. It kind of contradicts it. But when we do right action, we feel like we have the right to ask. We have the right to pray, not to beg, but rather pray. As Master said, pray as if you mean it. Pray
like you want it. Pray like you deserve it. Prayer demand. In any event, it's, little by little it has dawned on me that they're both tied together. I must ask because he is my father, I must ask because I deserve as a child of God. But I must also have done my right action. Because at that point is when I have conviction. At that point is when my faith is complete. When I know I can ask, yes, Father, please for me. This brings me to, there was a wonderful example that happened about that and about surrender when we were in the process of getting the second house in the ashram. I had, there was one day when I was out there by the stairs and I was looking at that house and I was like, oh, it would be so wonderful if we got that house. So some time passed, and one day just Sita walks in from a walk, and she's like, hey, there's a sign for sale in that back house. I was like, why didn't you tell me? So I literally ran back there, and I got my phone out, and I called the guy, and sure enough, oh, we're under contract. We just accepted an offer. And I'm like, oh, why are you doing this to me? So I'm sitting there, right? Well, I guess it wasn't meant to happen, but I told the guy, I said, send me the application, send me the info. I'm going to send you all my info. Put me in as a backup offer. Great, he puts in a backup offer. He puts me in as a backup offer, and a few days pass by. Now, through this whole process, starting from the very beginning, I'm sitting there surrendering. It's whatever you say, God. It's however you want it. I've always been a very willful person. I have a ton of willpower. Sometimes misdirected, but there's a ton of it. Nonetheless, the challenge has been to learn when, God wants it to be different. When God doesn't want this manifestation, but this. When this is what I want is not what's trying to happen. So it's taken me a lot of practice of surrender. I go into that again and again and go into and try to balance that with attunement so that I know whether I'm supposed to keep pushing forward or enough is enough, surrender to God. But there was a third element that was taught to me here, and that was what happened. The guy called me maybe 4 or 5 days later. He says, hey, the offer fell through. They fell out of escrow. I'm like, great. Where do I sign? He says, no. Send me back this and these papers. And so I sent him all kinds of things. And then later on, I'm pushing this. So he calls me and he's like, you know what? There's a problem. Some other offer came in, and my boss was considering both offers. And because you didn't send in the proof of some kind of funds or something, he says, but that wasn't the only thing. He really thought that the other guy he wanted the other guy to stay in the neighborhood. They're like the community development agency. So he says that we're trying to empower them to stay in the neighborhood, to get the home. And I'm like, wait, I'll go to your office. So I grab my things and I go to his office. I'm like, what do you need? I have all these documents here. I can prove to you. We can buy this place. So I'm sitting there. They're all willful, right? And I convinced him to go plead my case. So he's like, okay, give me everything. I'm going to go talk to my boss. And he goes talks to his boss, and I sit in a chair I was just thinking, I'm going to do some kriyas while he's going over there. And I'm sitting there just doing kriyas, and gosh, it must have been an hour. Because I was floating by the time he came back. I was like, oh, where were you? I was just doing kriyas away, it was fun. And then he comes back gloomy, and he's like, no, Frank. He said he thinks you're an investor. Nothing's going to happen. They want to give it to this guy. It's a little more difficult, but we think it's going to work out. So I said, well, just keep me there. So I'm walking. I go back to my car, and I actually stay in the car a little while. And if I remember correctly, I then went to lunch. I'm not sure if it was that day or the next day, but I went to lunch, and I was just thinking about this, and it's going back and forth. And surrender, again and again, just surrender to God's will. But I sat down to eat, and I'm again, I think I repeated it again right there when I sat down. I said, well, it will be as you say, just as you say. And then I heard a voice, or it was a feeling with a voice, or whatever it was for everyone. Everyone was a little different. But I thought I heard a voice that said, well, do you really want it? And I was like, and I said, yeah, I want it. But, just like that, because I was like, I wasn't trying to listen to God or praying in front of somewhere, It just came by itself. And I'm like, yes, I want it. And then it came again. Do you really want it? I said, yeah, I want it. At that point, because the voice was kind of louder, there was like kind of more energy. And then that was that. I was like, okay. That was it. So I sat there, I ordered my food, and a few minutes later, the guy calls me again. He says, hey, it's yours. You want it? It's yours. That's it. No more going back and forth. It's yours. But it was amazing because it happened just a little while after that call. And that impacted me tremendously on surrender. And, it brings about all of the aspects of attunement and manifestation. Because, first of all, if we're not in touch with our heart, how do we know? How do we know what we think is right? At least, what is our inspiration? What is our intuition? That's number one. But in the surrender part, I was sitting there surrendering, but I think I was too worried about surrendering and not worried enough about showing that I really wanted it. There has to be a balance. It has to be conviction. It has to be faith. When all these aspects are together, when we believe we deserve, that is the moment. That is the moment when we are praying right, when we are praying to God the right way. And I believe that is the key to manifestation.
Rivers in thy face, my heart,
happy summer solstice. Let's welcome the summer, the longest day of the year today, with some whispers, demand from whispers from eternity. Just like Frank said, let's pray, demanding, because it's our birthright. God wants to give it to us. God wants to give us whatever we ask for, as long as we need it. Not because we want it, but because we need it. So let's pray, let's demand with our full being, with our heart, with our mind, with our soul, and with all our strength, just like Jesus said as well. So let's all close our eyes, sit with our spine straight. If we're sitting on a chair, those of us at home or watching online, let's sit with our back away from the back of the chair in a meditative pose. Let's keep the chin parallel to the floor, and behind closed eyelids, let's gaze at the point between the eyebrows. In the far distance, at that beautiful mountaintop. And let's feel calmness inside us. Whatever thoughts come to mind, let's let them gently float away. All worries, any to-do list, it can wait. And let's listen to these words while we're in that state, from Whispers from Eternity by Paramahansa Yogananda. Rock me to sleep on thy bosom of peace. Thou hast come into my temple at last. The doors of my senses are open wide. The bird of darkness has taken wing. I tune the harp strings of my heart and sing a song of my ages-old love for thee. My song will be newly costumed with the fresh notes of my soul. Wavelets of my song will dance in rhythm within the heaving of thy great ocean of cosmic consciousness. Growing to great billows of devotion, they will move steadily to thy shore. O lullaby of all soothing, rising crashing waves, sing to me the song of my beloved mother, eternity. O anthem of divine love, rock me sonorously in thy cradle of cosmic vibration, and bring all my restless delusions to sleep at last on thy great bosom of peace. Let the vibration of those words keep resounding in our consciousness. And take that into a few minutes of meditation. If you have a practice, if you have a technique, go ahead and practice that. If not, simply stay in that consciousness and demand the divine to reveal herself. Reveal thyself. Feel Divine Mother as calmness, as peace. Visualize her light. Feel her love in our heart. If you catch the mind wandering, gently bring it back into that cradle of peace, of Divine Mother. While remaining in that meditative state, let's listen to these words from Affirmations for Self-Healing by Swami Kriyananda. Peace of mind. Peace of mind is the result not of money in the bank, but of prayer and meditation. The more one contacts God in meditation, the more he feels descending upon him a blanket, as it were, of inner peace, cooling his body, calming his restless impulses, and thrilling his nerves with ever new delight. Peace is light like a weightless waterfall, washing away all worries and bestowing a new glad sense of confidence. Peace of mind is his who knows that God is his only treasury. Now let's affirm together, first in a loud voice, capturing the conscious mind. From pools of inner silence, I sip the sparkling waters of thy peace. From pools of inner silence, I sip the sparkling waters of thy peace. Now in a normal speaking voice, from pools of inner silence, I sip the sparkling waters of thy peace. From pools of inner silence, I sip the sparkling waters of thy peace. Now in a whisper, from pools of inner silence, I sip the sparkling waters of thy peace. From pools of inner silence, I sip the sparkling waters of thy peace. Now taking it even deeper, silently, and broadcasting it from the point between the eyebrows into eternity. From pools of inner silence, I sip the sparkling waters of thy peace. From pools of inner silence, I sip the sparkling waters of thy peace. Now pray with me mentally. All that I own is thine, Lord. Help me to know thee as the river of peace, running silently beneath the sands of my life's experiences. Om, peace. Amen.
So just to close today's event, I invite you to stand up and we can sing together, Thy Light Within Us Shining. Thy light within us shining, a show where freedom lies, from earthly walls confining, to soar in spirit skies. How like sheep we strayed apart, now guided by thy rays, in inner freedom of the heart, our night has turned to day. Just feeling this light in our hearts, in our beings, in our souls, we can just share this light with all the world. And let's close with a prayer. Heavenly Father,
Heavenly Father,
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
dearest friend,
dearest friend,
beloved God,
beloved God,
great masters,
great Masters,
Jesus Christ,
Jesus Christ,
Babaji Krishna,
Babaji Krishna,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Lahiri Mahashaya,
Swami Sri Yukteswar,
Swami Sri Yukteswar,
Paramhansa Yogananda,
Paramhansa Yogananda,
saints and sages of all religions,
saints and sages of all religions,
we humbly and lovingly bow to you all.
we humbly and lovingly bow to you all.
O Divine Mother,
O Divine Mother,
help us to develop
help us to develop
a clear attunement
clear attunement
to thy will,
to thy will,
right attitude
right attitude,
to manifest,
manifest
right actions.
right actions.
Help us to become
Help us to become
channels of light
channels of light,
and help us to share
and help us to share
your divine love,
your divine love,
divine joy,
divine joy,
and peace
and peace
with every thought,
with every thought,
with every word,
with every word,
with every feeling.
with every feeling.
We are ever yours.
We are ever yours.
Help us to share you with all.
Help us to share you with all.
Om
Om
Shanti,
Shanti.
peace.
Peace.